Hello, everyone. Welcome to today with Kings. We are going to be talking about finding peace within your own space. I think the reason for this, I think, is important is because there is this shiny penny syndrome that we all face when it comes to starting a new journey. I am not immune to that. And I think it's part of the reason why you've seen a little bit of a delay here because for a moment I got caught up in that trap and I was doing so much that it just felt like, oh my days, this is just too much to try to catch up with. But that's the thing, isn't it? We kind of find ourselves in a position where we feel like we need to do everything at once. We get the thoughts in our head and we feel as though we need to pursue that and act on it immediately because there's a gap here without truly taking the time to process that. If you're sitting there right now, you've got a thought in your head of something that you really want to do. But the problem there is it's not something that is just come out of nowhere. It is something that you've been thinking about for a while, then there is every reason to do some research on it and give it a shot. But if you are someone that's just thought about this thing within the last few days or the last day, you're like, yes, everybody's speaking about this. I think I need to act on this because somebody else might just do it. The risk you run with that, from my learning, is that there are so many things that people will be talking about. And especially in this digital day and age, you're going to come across a lot of new ideas. And by new ideas, I mean sometimes it's new to us because those information have just come then. But to other people, they've been exposed to this for a longer time. So when you're getting all excited and heated up about it, about the reason to go for it, there are pros and cons that sometimes we don't always consider. In my case, running multiple channels is a brilliant idea because I can show off some of the skills that I think that I have. With my reaction channel, I had over 19, I still have over 19,000 subscribers. And that was growing and still growing, even though I've stopped it now. And then with the other channel, where I just try to encourage and try to explore the world around us. And before you know it, you are, as a one man band, you find yourself consistently trying to kind of play catch up. If it is the case that you're passing that task on to somebody else, then that's great. But this is a thing in life. There are certain things that we can manage ourselves, and there are other things that we need to delegate. And by delegating, that could be to a family member, that could be to our spouse, that could be to friends. And sometimes we need those critical challenges from family members or friends. Not obviously, we need to be careful in terms of people that are consistently going to knock you down when you come up with a good idea, or people that just can't see you making progress because it's you. For every one of us, we have those people in our lives. And over time, we can always tell when they're going to go down that path. So probably they're not the people to have those conversations with. And sometimes I find that it is okay to say you haven't quite got this. You haven't got this not because you're not capable of doing it, but maybe because this is not necessarily the path for you. Some people are blessed. I was watching Usain Bolt, his mini documentary, and he was a gifted athlete. He was a gifted athlete that struggled with training to the best of his ability, whilst there are other people that worked so damn hard to get half of what this man has just been blessed with. I suppose the point I'm trying to make here is that we can always achieve something if we work hard enough for it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the path that we are meant to go down. You know, that thing that you do that really makes you tick, for me, is communicating and talking and trying to rationalize and understand how things progress and how things or people make sense. Why have you chosen to behave in this way when you could have done something else? Why is it that you thought it was okay to be completely obnoxious when you could have chosen to be kind, be nice? And in unpicking that, you get to understand a lot of the time that it isn't always about you. It isn't always about you because behind those curtains are different level of struggles that people are having to contend with. Maybe the family member is unwell, maybe the in-law is giving them hard time, maybe their wife is really struggling with their own sense of identity, potentially because their extended family are constantly picking on them. Maybe your kids are being bullied. So there's so much that you're having to juggle that you find yourself that the next person that comes to you with something that almost comes across as a criticism, it is, please go away before I lose my rag. And that's where I find that I try to function. We've all got our space. And sometimes we are moved away from that, I find, because we are told that we need to be engineers, we need to be pilots, we need to be the greatest star, we need to be an actor, we need to be a musician, whatever it is that's trending at that time, we are guided by society to pursue that. When in actual fact, some of us are better suited to different things. And unless we give ourselves permission to actually explore those opportunities, I find that we struggle. And just because we haven't quite hit that point, we begin to doubt ourselves. When we doubt ourselves, we begin to criticize ourselves. The person that needs to be kinder to themselves is not the person out there, but instead the person within you. You need to be kinder to the person that you are. I think that there is nothing wrong with gearing yourself on, and there is nothing wrong with having to be, what's the word? Encouraging of yourself and to critique certain things that you do, because only by doing that are you able to identify potential areas of improvement. However, it is important that we are not so critical of ourselves that we lose sight of what the goal really is. And this is where it comes to the point where I'm talking about finding peace within yourself. Is it the point that you're trying so damn hard to achieve your goal, but there is just that hurdle that is beyond your control at this point, and you need time to be able to cross that? Is it a case of that goal or that achievement that you need is in a different country and there is a financial block at this point? You're working to be able to raise those funds, to be able to book your trip, to be able to get there. Those are hurdles that at this point are beyond your control because you are actively taking those steps to get you there. You could do one or two things, but both of them are beyond your control because it requires the other person, the other entity to agree to that. For example, some people would argue and say, why not take a loan, book that trip? If you believe in yourself so much, you will make it. You could. You could do that. But that is the shortcut that comes with some financial risk. And yes, with risk comes reward. But however, if you could do it in a way where the risk could be reduced, but it needs time. to be able to get there. The pursuit for immediate success, I worry, is taking over our ability to be logical. Because when you skip logic, the consequences and a lot of us would know, is that it is dire. So for that reason, give yourself a break, I would say, because it is something that as a human being, I have struggled with over a long period of time, that you feel it has to be done and it has to be done now. But it is also something that takes a bit of getting used to. What are your experiences? And do you mind sharing for all of us to learn? Let me know in the comment section below. It has been Kings. Peace. Bye for now.